Have you ever felt the gentle tug of adventure still calling your name, even after 70? The world is wide, full of beauty, culture, and wonder, and just because you've turned another page in life doesn't mean the story of exploration has to end. In fact, many seniors find that this season of life is one of the best times to travel. With fewer obligations, more freedom, and a deeper appreciation for each moment, travel can become a truly enriching experience. But here's the honest truth. As we grow older, the way we travel and the things we need to consider change. It's not about giving up the idea of seeing new places, it's about embracing the adventure wisely. Because while travel still holds its magic, it also brings along a set of risks that many seniors simply aren't told about until they're already caught in the middle of a difficult situation. You see, our bodies and minds evolve with time. We may not have the same energy or physical resilience we once did, and long flights, unpredictable schedules, or even changes in climate can affect us in ways they never used to. What once felt like a minor inconvenience on the road can now become a real challenge or even a threat to our health and safety. That doesn't mean we should stop exploring, not at all. It means we should travel smarter, not harder. It means making informed choices, planning ahead, and understanding the unique realities that come with traveling in our 70s and beyond. And it means protecting what truly matters: our health, our peace of mind, and our hard-earned savings. In this video, I'm going to walk with you through 5 hidden dangers of traveling after 70, things that often go unnoticed until they become serious problems. From unexpected medical emergencies to financial traps that can cost more than you ever imagined, each point is something I wish every senior traveler knew before booking that dream vacation. But don't worry, this isn't a message of fear. It's a message of empowerment, because the more you know, the more confidently you can step into new experiences, and that's exactly what I want for you. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the risks, you'll also be equipped with practical ways to stay safe, healthy, and in control during your travels. So if you've been thinking about packing your bags, or if you have a loved one who dreams of taking a trip, stay with me. Let's talk honestly, prepare wisely, and make sure your next adventure brings you the joy, connection, and inspiration you deserve, without the worry. One of the most overlooked truths about traveling after 70 is that health becomes your most important travel companion. When we're young, we take resilience for granted. A long flight, a missed meal, or a poor night's sleep is nothing more than a minor hiccup. But as we age, those small disruptions can turn into something far more serious. Our bodies become less forgiving, our recovery times longer, and the line between a little tired and something's wrong begins to blur. No one likes to think about medical emergencies, especially not while planning a vacation. We focus on the excitement, the places we've dreamed of visiting, the people we'll meet, and the stories we'll bring home. But the reality is, after 70, even a well-planned trip can be derailed by something as simple as dehydration, or as frightening as sudden chest pain. Not because you're weak, but because your body deserves more care than it once did. It's earned that care through decades of carrying you forward. Consider the story of James, a 74-year-old retiree who had always dreamed of cruising the Mediterranean with his wife. He was healthy, active, and full of enthusiasm. The first few days were everything he hoped for: sunlight on the water, delicious meals, and no stress in sight. But on the 4th night, something changed. He began to feel pressure in his chest. It wasn't dramatic at first, just discomfort, but it escalated quickly. The ship's onboard medical staff did what they could, but James needed more than they could offer. They were in the middle of the ocean, hours from the nearest port, and every minute felt like a lifetime. He survived, thankfully, but later admitted that he never considered how vulnerable he could be while so far from home. Stories like James's aren't rare. And they're not told to scare you. They're shared so that others might be better prepared. Because what's even more painful than a health scare is realizing you could have prevented the worst with just a few extra steps. Many seniors assume that their regular health insurance will cover them abroad, only to find out, too late, that it doesn't. Emergency surgeries, hospital stays, even the cost of getting you back home can add up to tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket. That's not just a financial burden, It's an emotional one, especially when it could have been avoided with the right travel insurance or a conversation with your doctor beforehand. The good news is that you don't have to cancel your travel. Dreams. You just have to approach them differently. Get a full medical checkup before your trip. Ask your doctor about any specific risks related to the destination, altitude, climate, available medical care, and make sure you bring all your necessary medications, including extras in case of delays. Choose destinations with strong healthcare systems and easy access to hospitals or clinics. And most importantly, invest in travel insurance that includes medical emergencies and evacuation coverage. Not because you expect something to go wrong, but because you love yourself enough to be ready if it does. At this stage in life, you've already made it through the hardest parts. You've earned the right to enjoy what comes next. Travel can still be magical. It can still open your heart, connect you with the world, and remind you that life, at any age, is worth exploring. But magic doesn't have to mean recklessness. Preparation is not pessimism, it's wisdom. And if you've lived this long, you already have more than enough of that to guide you. Take it with you. Let it walk beside you. Because when you do, every step becomes safer, every view more beautiful, and every memory one that brings joy, not regret, when you return home. When we think about travel, we imagine adventure. We think of tasting new foods, walking through vibrant markets, trying a dish we've never heard of, and soaking in all the colors, smells, and sounds of a new culture. It's one of the most beautiful parts of being human, the desire to connect, to explore, to step outside our routines and into the unknown. But for those over 70, stepping into the unknown doesn't just bring wonder. It can also bring risk, especially when it comes to your immune system. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to things we once brushed off. A small stomach bug in our 30s might have meant a day of discomfort, but at 75 that same bug could mean days in bed, dehydration, a trip to the hospital, or worse. Our immune systems simply don't bounce back the way they used to. And when you travel, especially to places with unfamiliar climates, foods, and sanitation standards, you're stepping into a world of bacteria and viruses your body hasn't encountered before. Airports, airplanes, crowded buses, public restrooms, these are all high-risk environments for germs. And while they're part of any travel experience, they carry a different weight when your immune system is more fragile. You're not being overly cautious by caring about this. You're being wise. You're listening to what your body needs. Now, not what it could handle 20 years ago, and that's a strength, not a weakness. But it's not just about catching a cold on the plane. Food safety becomes a major concern too. Travelers often look forward to tasting local dishes, and rightly so. But spices, oils, or cooking techniques unfamiliar to your digestive system can lead to real distress. Something as simple as eating a salad washed in local tap water can cause days of cramping, nausea, or even a dangerous infection. Many locals have natural immunity to what's in their water or food. You don't. That's not about fear. It's about understanding how your body protects you and how to help it do that better. Even the things that seem clean may not be. Hotel remotes, elevator buttons, tray tables on planes. These surfaces are rarely disinfected as often as they should be. And for seniors who rely on canes, walkers, or railings to maintain balance, your hands are in constant contact with public surfaces. One small germ passed from a handle to your hand can travel quickly to your eyes or mouth, and from there to your entire system. This doesn't mean you need to stay home. Far from it. It means you need to travel with a new awareness. An awareness that says, my health is worth protecting. It means carrying hand sanitizer and using it often. It means being selective with food, opting for fully cooked meals, over raw dishes, drinking bottled water and asking about ingredients. It means wearing a mask in crowded spaces when necessary, not because you're scared, but because you know how far you've come to enjoy this trip, and you want to be present for all of it. There's so much joy waiting out there. The music, in foreign streets, the kindness of strangers, the feeling of being alive in a place you've never seen before. But to fully receive that joy, you need your body to stay strong. You need your health to hold you up, not hold you back. And that begins with preparation, caution, and care. You don't have to stop saying yes to the world, but it's okay to start saying no to the things that put your well-being at risk. Because every day you stay healthy is another day you get to keep discovering what life still has to offer. There's something undeniably romantic about the idea of travel. Packing your bags, boarding a plane, waking up in a place where everything feels new. But what many people don't talk about, especially after 70, is the toll travel can quietly take on your body. We don't just age in appearance, we age in energy and recovery, in the way our systems handle disruption. And while our spirit for adventure may still burn bright, our physical stamina has often shifted in ways we didn't quite notice until we're already on the road, wondering why we feel so exhausted after only one day. Traveling isn't just about where you go. It's about how you get there. And for older adults, the journey itself can be the hardest part. Early morning flights, long security lines, sitting for hours in uncomfortable airplane seats, and dragging luggage through unfamiliar terminals, these aren't just inconveniences, they're stresses, and they add up fast. What used to feel like a mild annoyance in your 50s can now leave you feeling drained before your vacation even begins. Sleep, too, becomes an unpredictable companion. Hotels can be noisy. Beds aren't always comfortable. Time zone changes leave your body confused. You might find yourself lying awake at 2 a.m. in Paris, exhausted but unable to sleep, your body still tethered to your home time zone. And what follows is more than just tiredness. It's a ripple effect. Poor sleep affects your balance, your memory, your mood. It weakens your immune system. It makes you more vulnerable to injury or illness. And over time, it steals the joy out of what was meant to be a restorative experience. Even small things like walking longer distances than usual or skipping meals because you're too tired to eat can spiral. Dehydration, low blood sugar, muscle cramps, dizziness. They sneak in quietly, turning simple activities like sightseeing or standing in line into overwhelming challenges. And once fatigue sets in, it doesn't leave quickly. For many seniors, it takes days, sometimes weeks, to recover from a trip that might have felt manageable just a decade ago. Consider the story of Richard, a 75-year-old who had spent his retirement dreaming of a trip through Europe with his wife. He planned carefully, booked a beautiful itinerary, and even scheduled rest days between cities. But what he didn't account for was how deeply the travel itself would wear him down. After a 10-hour flight, a crowded airport, and adjusting to a 6-hour time difference, he found himself too tired to enjoy the museums, the walks along the river, the romantic dinners he had envisioned. By the time he finally adjusted, it was almost time to fly home, and instead of feeling fulfilled, he felt frustrated, like the trip had slipped through his fingers. It's not that Richard made a mistake in going. It's that he hadn't fully realized how much his body needed space to rest, to adjust, to recover. And that's the lesson for anyone considering travel later in life. Joy and exhaustion can't live side by side for long. If the trip depletes you, it won't uplift you. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go. It means you should go differently. Plan shorter days, build in recovery time, choose direct flights when possible, or break long trips into smaller legs. Stay hydrated, eat well, nap when you need to, and perhaps most importantly, listen to your body without guilt. There is no prize for pushing through fatigue just to see it all. You've already earned the right to enjoy life at your own pace. The goal isn't to do more, it's to feel more, remember more, and return home not just with photographs, but with a sense of peace that lingers long after the suitcase is unpacked. One of the most life-changing moments in anyone's later years doesn't come with fanfare. It comes quietly in the form of a single misstep, a trip on a stair, a fall on an uneven path, a moment of imbalance that ends with more than just bruised pride. After 70, the body doesn't fall the same way it used to. Bones are more fragile, reflexes are slower, and the ground seems somehow harder than before. And while falls can happen anywhere, they are especially dangerous when you're traveling, far from your doctor, your routines, and the familiar comforts of home. Most people don't think of travel as physically dangerous, but for seniors, unfamiliar environments bring unexpected hazards. Hotel lobbies with glossy floors, Cobblestone streets that look charming but are treacherous underfoot, poorly lit staircases in quaint little inns, all of them create real risk. What would have once been a minor stumble can now lead to a broken hip, a dislocated shoulder, or weeks in a hospital bed. And sometimes the injury isn't just physical, it's emotional. A single fall can shatter confidence, creating a fear that follows you long after the trip has ended, changing how you walk, how you move, even how you think about leaving the house again. Take Linda, for example. At 78, she was vibrant, independent, and walked every day in her neighborhood without any issue. She decided to finally visit Europe, something she'd dreamed about since she was a young girl. Rome was beautiful, everything she had imagined. But one evening, while stepping off a curb in a quiet alley, she didn't see the edge clearly. She slipped and fell hard. Her hip fractured, and she was rushed to a local hospital that didn't speak much English. Surgery was required. Her trip ended there, and the recovery took months. Linda later said she felt lucky to be alive, but the experience took something from her. The next time she thought about traveling, she hesitated, not because she didn't want to go, but because the fear had taken root. It's not just uneven ground that causes these falls. Fatigue plays a huge part. Long days of walking, interrupted sleep, skipped meals. Each one chips away at your energy and coordination. Add to that joint pain, arthritis, or medications that affect balance, and you have a perfect storm. Even strong, active seniors can be caught off guard. You might start a day feeling fine and find, by afternoon, your legs are shaky, your steps uncertain, and the nearest handrail is just out of reach. But that doesn't mean you should stop going places. It means recognizing your limits, not as weaknesses, but as wisdom. It means choosing destinations that are senior-friendly. It means wearing shoes that support you, walking slowly even when others are rushing ahead, and asking for help without apology. It means carrying a cane, not because you've given up, but because you're still going, and you're doing it safely. It means giving your body the respect it deserves. For all the years it's carried you without complaint. There is no shame in being careful. In fact, it's one of the most loving things you can do for yourself. Travel should bring you joy, not injury. And while the world is still full of places to see, it's okay to choose the ones that see you back, not as a tourist trying to keep up, but as a human being who moves with grace, with awareness, and with the courage to say, I'll go at my own pace. Because this season of life is not about proving anything. It's about preserving everything that matters, your health, your freedom, your peace, and trusting that the most beautiful journeys are the ones where you return home whole. Travel is often seen as a reward, something you finally get to do after a lifetime of working hard, raising a family, and putting others first. And it can be exactly that, a gift you give yourself. But what many seniors don't anticipate is that beyond the health concerns and physical exhaustion, there's another risk waiting quietly beneath the surface. It doesn't show up on the map or in the travel brochures, but it can have a lasting impact long after the plane lands. That risk is financial, and for many people over 70, it's one of the most painful to face because it's the one we feel we should have seen coming. It begins with trust. You trust that your trip will go as planned, that your health will hold up, that your bookings are safe, that your insurance, if you have any, will cover the things it needs to. But travel by its nature is unpredictable. Flights get cancelled. Illness strikes out of nowhere. A hotel might lose your reservation or worse, turn out to be a scam. And when those things happen, the financial fallout can be enormous. Many older adults assume their health insurance will protect them if something goes wrong overseas. The reality: most standard health insurance plans don't cover international medical expenses. That means if you fall ill or get injured while traveling, you may be responsible for everything, from hospital stays to emergency evacuations to last-minute return flights. And the cost isn't small. A single medical flight back home can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Add to that any treatments, surgeries, or medications, and a dream trip can quickly become a financial burden that takes years to recover from. And it's not just health emergencies. Life is unpredictable at any age, but especially in later years. You might book a cruise or an international tour months in advance, only to face a sudden change in your health, or the health of a loved one, that makes it impossible to go. Unfortunately, many airlines, cruise lines, and travel agencies have strict cancellation policies. Without proper travel insurance, you might lose everything you paid, regardless of the reason. Then there are the scams. It's hard to admit, but seniors are often targeted while traveling because scammers know they're more trusting, more polite, and less likely to challenge someone who seems official. From fake taxi drivers who overcharge, to credit card fraud, to entire websites selling vacations that don't exist, the traps are real. And the damage isn't just monetary, it's emotional. It shakes your confidence. It makes you second-guess every future plan. George, a 76-year-old widower, had saved for 2 years to take a solo trip to the Caribbean. He found a beautiful beachfront resort online at an unbelievable price and booked it with excitement. But when he arrived, the hotel didn't exist. He had been scammed, and by the time he scrambled to find last-minute accommodations, he had spent nearly twice his original budget just to have a place to sleep. What was meant to be a peaceful, healing escape turned into a stress-filled, expensive ordeal. These stories are hard to hear, but they're not shared to scare you. They're shared to prepare you, because financial security matters just as much as physical safety. You've worked too hard to risk it all on a trip that could have been protected with a few thoughtful steps. Before booking, make sure you understand what your insurance does and doesn't cover. Consider purchasing travel insurance that includes both medical emergencies and trip cancellation. Book only through trusted companies. Be cautious with your credit cards. Carry less cash. And most of all, be okay with walking away from deals that seem too good to be true, because they usually are. Travel should enhance your life, not create new problems that follow you home. And while spontaneity has its charm, peace of mind is priceless, especially now. You've earned the right to move through this world with confidence, not fear, with preparation, not regret, and with a deep understanding that protecting your well-being isn't about being overly cautious. It's about honoring everything you've built, everything you've saved, and everything you still hope to experience. Because the best journeys aren't just beautiful. They're secure, intentional, and filled with the quiet freedom of knowing you've taken care of what matters most. Before you book that next flight, take a moment to truly pause. Not to doubt yourself, not to cancel your plans, but to reflect honestly and lovingly on what you need in this season of life. Ask yourself the questions that matter most, even if they aren't the ones that appear on travel brochures. Is your health in a place where you can safely enjoy this trip? Or will the journey ask more of your body than it can comfortably give? Have you taken the time to secure the right travel insurance, not just for trip cancellations, but for medical emergencies, evacuations, or unexpected delays that could cost far more than the ticket itself? And have you chosen a destination that matches where you are now, one that is not only beautiful but accessible, welcoming, and safe for your needs? These may not be glamorous questions, but they are powerful. Because when answered truthfully, they can prevent the kind of stress and hardship that turn a joyful escape into a painful memory. More importantly, they give you the power to design a trip that truly honors who you are. Not just as a traveler, but as someone who has earned the right to move through the world with care, dignity, and self-respect. Longevity isn't about chasing every last opportunity. It's not about squeezing more into your days just because the clock keeps ticking. It's about making sure those days and the years ahead are lived with quality, with independence, and with peace of mind. It's about choosing experiences that nourish you, not deplete you. About knowing that your worth doesn't lie in how far you go, but in how deeply you live, wherever you are. If that means saying no to a trip that feels too demanding, too rushed, or too risky, that's not a loss. That's wisdom. If it means exploring closer to home, traveling in smaller steps, or choosing comfort over chaos, that's not settling. That's choosing joy on your own terms. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You've already done the hard parts, raised families, built careers, survived heartbreaks, and kept going when it would have been easier to stop. This part of life, it's about you. It's about protecting the peace you've earned and giving yourself permission to enjoy life at a pace that suits you, not the world's, not anyone else's, but yours. Thank you for spending this time with us. We hope today's message gave you something to think about, something to hold on to, or maybe even something to share with someone you love. If anything we said resonated with you, we'd be honored to hear it. Leave us a comment, share a thought, or tell us what you're taking away from this conversation. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might need to hear it too. We're grateful you're here, and we can't wait to walk beside you again in the next chapter of your journey.